Hey, it's Renee and Mike with the Friedrich team here at eXp Realty and
the YouTube channel Living in Sacramento.
And today we're going to talk about all of the well, not all, but the many things that you can do in Sacramento. We compiled a top 50 things to do.
Yeah, and so before we forget though, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right here below.
Yeah, or the alert bell.
Yeah.
The alert bell. So you're the first to know about everything living, working, and today playing in Sacramento.
Right? And if you have any questions, I mean, there's a lot of folks like you that are considering moving to the Sacramento area. We love any questions you have, and we love answering them too. Right?
Of course. Yeah, we get calls, texts, emails, DMs, like you name it. And yeah, the whole team loves it. So definitely reach out to us with any questions about the area, and let's get rolling.
Yeah. All right, so with that, there's a very
got a big list.
Important, and I mean very well-known person too, right? Croker.
Yes.
Right.
So yes, we have the Croker Museum. Actually, this list, when we were looking through and putting it together, we have a ton of museums in the Sacramento area, and Croker Museum is one of the absolute oldest west of the Mississippi. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And yes, it's a long-standing family, 14 decades that they've been the museum open now in the Sacramento area. Yeah. And it's just a beautiful space. If you ever get a chance to go to an event there, Mike and I went to a fundraiser there one time, and it was just like lovely and so much fun, and art is always great to admire. So
yeah, and then obviously they have traveling exhibits and things like that that come into the city. They typically tend to be at the Croker.
Right? Yeah. So that's number one.
Yeah. Number two,
it's the zoo.
The zoo, right.
And I talked about the zoo a little bit when we were down in Land Park doing our walking tour, and it is, I think, a super fun Sacramento treasure. So you can go visit the giraffes and the monkeys, and there's lions and tigers, and I don't think there's bears, but
panda bears?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I really don't know.
But check out the Sacramento Zoo. It is super fun for kids of all ages. Yeah.
No, I think the only panda bears that in the U.S. are probably in the Washington Zoo.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Comment below, and if you know,
let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And then another cool thing, which I would do in the summer, is wildwater rafting.
Yeah, or just like not whitewater, just rafting.
Just floating.
Just floating. Yeah. There's lots of people that float down the American River. Right. And it's just a very relaxing and super fun thing to do. Like Mike said, especially in the summertime to cool off, because we do get pretty hot, like we talked about here in the area. So that's number 3.
Yeah, and then, I mean, in the spring, you probably do want to be a little bit careful because the water is extremely cold from the snowmelt, right?
Yes. Yeah. It comes straight from the mountains down into our area.
But there's always a wetsuit.
Yeah. You first.
Okay, so the next one is actually the California State Capitol Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can go on a little political journey and kind of step back in time and see all things that are California and Sacramento.
We did that, right? Actually, was it just the Capitol that we visited when friends of mine came?
We just visited the Capitol. I have been to the museum, and it is really nice. And like we said, there's a lot of museums on this list, so that's just yet another one. Yeah.
So I didn't even know about that. King Arthur's Castle. It's Fairy Tale Town.
Well, yes, the whole Fairy Tale Town is super sweet and fun. And we talked a little bit about that when I was down in Land Park as well.
So when you're going to the zoo, you could just go swing over there.
It's literally across the street from the zoo. So it feels like you're in a miniature storybook land. And, you know, there's Mother Goose in there, and there is King Arthur's Castle. The Junior League used to do a fundraiser there every year. And so I've actually counted money in the castle.
Okay. And that's one of the other places that the Junior League helped establish, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. See, I know a little bit.
He listens.
I do. Well, and then one of my favorite ones is the California Railroad Museum, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
And we used to take the boys there when they were little. I think they'd probably like it again. They're getting, to that age where maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia with the trains. And when they were super little, I think it's really cool the way they have it set up. So they've got the big locomotives downstairs.
I mean, the full size. We're not talking like miniature or like replicas.
No, it's the real thing.
Right. It's huge.
They're huge. Yeah. Yes. And then if you go upstairs, though, they've got a little play area for little kids. And they've got Thomas the Train set up. And, they can push the trains on the little wooden tracks. And It's super, super fun and sweet. And then once a year, well, actually, they have train rides all the time. And at Christmas time, they actually replicate the Polar Express. So if you are watching this in time to take part in that, or just put it on your calendar for next year, if it's too late, definitely the Polar Express is a really fun experience.
And while you're down there at this Railroad Museum, we're going to do a piece on Old Sacramento, which that's exactly where the Railroad Museum is, right?
Yes, and they've got lots of walking tours, and there's like Joe's Crab Shack, so there's lots of food. There's a ton of bars, of course, we have to mention that. And you can actually do several different walking tours while you're down there. There's even some bars that are like kind of speakeasy-ish where, you know, you feel like you're like sneaking in and it's prohibition time or something. And I don't know if many people know this, but Old Sacramento, actually, there's like a whole underground area. I
actually was just going to talk about it.
Oh,
I'm surprised you know about that.
Yeah.
So because Sacramento is, at that part at least, it's literally on the river, and it used to flood all the time. So rather than lifting everything up, they just decided, oh, we'll just leave everything on the bottom. And we said, they reset the street level, right?
Yeah.
Basically. So yeah, there's a lot of homes with basements, which typically is not the case.
That's not normal in our area. Yeah. And I think you can do an underground tour as well.
Well, we should probably do that.
Yeah. One thing, and also similar in the same region, not in Old Town, but in downtown, is the really old Catholic church as well. So that was up a little bit further. Mike's scrolling through the list.
I'm going too fast. There we go.
Well, we missed Cathedral. It. So it's the Cathedral of
the Blessed
Sacrament.
Sacrament.
Yeah. Sacrament for Sacramento.
Oh, how appropriate.
So there's some really pretty churches downtown for sure. And that is definitely one of them. Also, the Lutheran church is really beautiful and historic as well.
I agree.
Sacramento's a really old town, like most of California's towns that were really established during the gold rush. And so the capital's super old, the whole downtown scene, there's a lot of Victorians. And so even just walking around downtown is super fun. I mean, you're from Germany, everything's older. We get it.
Okay, good. So, but there's the old Tower Bridge, right?
Yes.
It's a drawbridge, actually. And if you have a big enough boat coming into Sacramento. You can call on channel 16 and have them raise it for you so you can actually fit under.
Yeah, and depending on where the water level is too, because sometimes if the river's really high, then even smaller boats have to call ahead.
Right. Which has never happened for us.
No,
although it has been really dry over the last several years, I would say.
So probably not an issue for most boats right now.
That's right.
But you should walk across the Tower Bridge. It's a really cool, it's gold. It's kind of an iconic. We actually have it in the picture on our banner above. And it's an iconic centerpiece to the city, I think.
And if you've seen the Sacramento vlog, you heard about the fact that Sacramento is farm to fork capital
of the world.
Self-proclaimed. So there's probably other ones, but
maybe.
Well, we'll be pretty proud of it. And they have a Farm to Fork festival every September, October. And they're going to shut down the Tower Bridge. And they have a humongous dining room table, right?
I think it's multiple tables.
Is it multiple tables?
Yeah, but they do shut down the bridge. They bring in local celebrity chefs.
And then you get to dine on the Tower Bridge.
We've never been. Yeah. It's on my list.
Okay.
All our friends out there that sponsor the event and have extra tickets, call us. We'll go.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive, actually. Yeah. So it's a bucket list item. We'll get there one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then since you're already, we're still in downtown, right?
Yes.
Or Old Town, I should say.
Yeah.
There you can board some paddle. How do you call them? We call them paddle
river boats. And they're like paddle. They have the old paddle like you'd see on the Mississippi.
Yeah, exactly.
So like old river boats, and there's dinner cruises. You can rent them for private parties. Yeah. There's lots of things you can do.
And then there's the Delta Queen, which is not moving.
That is not moving.
Right? But it's a hotel now.
It's a hotel, and they do mystery dinners.
They do, yeah.
We went to one year for a friend's birthday, and that was super funny.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then there's Scandia Fun Center.
Yes, that's over on the 80 side.
Yeah.
So that's golf, and there's giant ride that you see from the side of the freeway where you like just loop around upside down. Yeah. So that's all at Scandia.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there. On that ride.
Yeah. No, we've been to Scandia, and the mini golf is super fun always.
Yeah. And then we've talked a bunch about museums. So I think there's one more that I want to point out before. We're not going to go into every single 50.
Yes, we are.
We are? Oh my gosh. Okay, there you go. So the Sacramento History Museum is next on the list.
Yep. Yeah. It's another one where you can kind of step back in time and see how our city was established. So and we can just be faster. Yeah. So while you're downtown, the next thing on the list is go see a Kings game at Golden One.
Yeah, or sometimes they have really good artists. Paul McCartney actually opened up the event.
He did.
The venue. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and every year they do certain things, like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra comes every Christmas.
Yeah, but we just said we're going to go faster.
We are going faster. So you can look forward to lots and lots of different events at Golden One, and tons of great acts come through.
And then if you go over to the State Fair, there's Raging Waters.
Yes. So right over by Cal Expo, where they have the fair every year, and that's always in the summertime. So depending again on when you're watching this, you can check that out. And if you need to cool off, Raging Waters is a great place to do it.
I remember one summer my parents coming from Germany, right? And that was the kids' favorite thing to do.
We got them all passes so that they could go whenever they wanted. And oh my gosh, the boys had a blast.
Thank God for Grandma and Grandpa.
Yes, definitely.
And then we have William Land Park, which is Southland Park-ish.
It's in Land Park. Yeah, so we spent a lot of time there when I was walking you guys around Land Park. And, you can have a picnic there. You can play volleyball. You can go feed the ducks. There is no shortage of things to do at Land Park. And again, you're right next to the zoo and Fairy Tale Town. So you can check those out too.
Exactly. And Gunther's Ice Cream.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
I like that. And then you can soak in the ambience of the State Capitol Park.
Well, specifically the Rose Garden. So there is the World Peace Rose Garden is what they call it. And there's actually some great messaging all around the area too. So, once you actually stop and smell the roses, after you do that, you can go ahead and read some of those beautiful messages and just really soak it all in. It's beautiful. There's always photographers out there doing wedding photos, family photos. It's a really special place for sure.
And then if you hop across the river, you're in West Sacramento, actually. And that's home to the River Cats.
Yes.
And it's called Sutter Health Park. So depending on when you watch this, they may have a new sponsor.
Sometimes they get new sponsors. Right? It used to be Rayleigh Field. Yeah. And Sutter took over. And it's really they have such a loyal fan base for the baseball team, and it's the minor league team for the Giants. So if you're a Giants fan, then you've got to be a River Cats fan too. Right. It's necessary.
And a fun fact, so there's a lot of Sutter in and around Sacramento. And that's because it was actually an immigrant from Switzerland, and the way you pronounce it is Sutter. And he's part of the people that found gold, right?
Yep, that's true.
So, and obviously somehow managed to remain wealthy, or at least his estate did. And so there's a lot of Sutter around.
There's Sutter everywhere here in the Sacramento area, that's for sure. All of our hospitals, well, not all, but many of the hospitals. And
how appropriate that number 18 is talking about the Sutter Fort.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
So that's a pretty cool experience. And a lot of times the schools will do field trips to Sutter Fort, and it really truly feels like you're walking back into the 1800s. So they have all of the docents that are there. They're all in costume, and it's just a really fun experience. So you can kind of feel like you're back in the Gold Rush days.
Right. And then number 19, I don't know. I would probably not want to do it. Dare me.
And this is another seasonal thing to do. So in the fall for Halloween, there is the Ultimate Terror Scream Park. And one of our friends just went with her kids, and it definitely looked scary. Yeah. We haven't been.
We've done the scary part in Discovery Kingdom.
Yeah, and right? Discovery Kingdom's coming up. So we do have a couple of things on the list that are a little bit outside of the Sacramento area. And that's one of them. You got ahead of yourself.
No, I'm so sorry. No, maybe not.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then you can spend a couple of hours on the ice rink that they're building. I think right now, maybe.
Well, there's the November. One that's out, actually there's several outdoor skating rinks that get put up between November and December and usually go into January. And there's also a couple of skating rinks throughout the area where it's all year round. So you could literally, if you need to cool off in the summertime, go ice skating.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's one over by Roseville. Yep.
Okay. And look, there's Discovery Kingdom. Meet the alligators.
Oh my goodness. There's so much cool wildlife and roller coasters. I love roller coasters.
Yeah.
Like literally, I'm a fanatic over going upside down. I don't know why. And the fun thing with Discovery Kingdom, which is in Vallejo, so it's probably about an hour.
Right?
Yeah, it's a Six Flags park. Right. It wasn't always, but it is now. But there's, it's right on the bay. And so there's dolphins and sea lions and whales and giraffes. And
no more whales because of the captivity.
Oh, shoot. Okay, sorry.
So, I don't know. May still be there. I'm not sure.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
When I used to go there, it used to be called Marine World, and that was the whale show. I mean, that's when I was a kid. It's been there literally forever. So, but they do have giraffes and alligators, and like Mike said, and then of course the roller coasters, and it's only like an hour.
Yeah, it's
from
not
Sacramento.
That far.
It's not too far.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah,
and then we have the State Indian Museum.
Another museum, you guys.
Of course. It is the state capital after all.
Yes.
Right? So
yeah. I think there's at least 3 more museums that we're going to talk about quickly as well.
Yeah.
So then, check out the Indian Museum.
And then there's a trampoline park. Is that
everywhere?
The one, the one in Rancho? Or no?
There's like 5.
Okay.
At least 5 trampoline parks. So hit us up if you have, like kids and they need to jump their energy out, because there's probably a trampoline park 5 minutes from wherever you are.
Right. Probably, right? And then the next Sac State, they call the Hornets.
Yes, yeah. Stingers up.
And they have a stadium there. And oftentimes you see the track and field trials.
Yeah, the Olympic trials have often been at Sac State. They've got a great facility for football, for obviously track and field. And then, like we mentioned earlier, or in a different video, they've got the Lake Natoma, where they also do rowing. And so, any kind of sports that you are into, Sac State has great teams, and they're just fun to watch. And then the other fun thing that they do at Hornet Field or Hornet Stadium is they do the Black and Blue Bowl. I don't know. The firefighters versus the police every year.
There you go. Again, if you know, feel free to comment below, right? So we love
it's the firefighters versus the police, and that is always a super fun day, and all to raise money for charity, and it's just a good time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then there's another museum, the California Museum. Yeah, although I think we mentioned that already before.
I think there's a second one, actually.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and maybe we'll provide some of the links in the comments area, so you guys can check
either that, or you can just chat us up, and then we'll email it to you.
That too. Yes.
And then one of the additional activities is, like Renee said earlier, it's not all specifically in Folsom, but in the suburbs as well. And if you want to have a really cool experience of what a Western town would look like, in today's age, Old Town Folsom is probably a good representation of
Absolutely.
what it looked like.
Yeah. No, it's super fun. There's great nightlife. There's great shopping. There's antique shops. There's great restaurants. There's, of course, bars and live music, and there's a
whole video that Renee did.
I did. Yep. Yeah. I walked all through Old Town and drove through Old Town, so you guys can go check that out too. That's the Folsom video blog tour.
But you could traverse the American River Bike Trail, right?
Yes.
That's I don't know how many miles of.
Oh my gosh, so many.
Bike and pedestrian trails just along the American River. It's really great. A lot of wildlife sanctuary, and you could spend hours and hours.
Actually, and they just did the Ironman here recently, right before we taped this. And so they do the swim in the American River, and then they do the bike all along the American River, and then the run was all downtown. So it gets utilized not just by locals, but also people coming from all over the world to experience it. So, and
if we head north from there, just around the lake and go to Roseville, and you're into mini golf, you can go to Sunsplash.
Yes. Right? So similar to Scandia, they've got the mini golf, and then there's also a huge arcade. And in the summertime, it is also
a water slide
park.
Yeah, exactly. And then now back to Sacramento. There's one of the more affluent areas in the Sacramento area, which is close to not Sutter Medical, but that's UC Davis Medical Center, right?
There's so much medical in the East Sac and downtown area that it's probably both. But
it's McKinley Park.
Yes, take a stroll through McKinley Park. I actually walked everybody through there on my East Sacramento tour, and it's also just similar to Land Park. It's just an iconic, huge green space. The duck pond is super fun. There's tennis courts. There's volleyball set up usually most of the time, soccer, you name it.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a pool. There's a public pool there.
It feels like, I don't know, and if you're from New York, you're probably going to say this guy is crazy. It feels like a little tiny Central Park.
Mini Central Park.
Mini Central Park. Very mini.
Yeah. Okay, so Stanford is close, right? And I think that they were from Sacramento and then relocated to the Bay Area, or maybe it's the other way around, but he had a mansion. And for a good while, the governor actually lived in the Stanford Mansion as their residence. So that's a super fun thing to do, is go tour that.
Yeah.
And that's right downtown also.
Right. And then if you're into more exhibits, you can do what?
Well, you can go check out the World of Wonders exhibit. So that's another one.
Yeah.
So, and then this next one is another museum, you guys. But it is brand new, and it is the SMUD Museum of Science and Curiosity.
Is that the new thing that is right on the river?
It is right on the river.
Yeah.
Yes. It's been a lot of years.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. It was a lot of years in the making. They built it at Matsui Park to honor the former congressman, and his wife, Doris Matsui, is still a congresswoman. And she, I think, donated the land so that we could make it all happen. So it's a really huge amenity for the Sacramento area. And it's like Museum Row down there now. Like if you think about
because we haven't even talked about the California Auto Museum. Is that still on the list?
I don't know.
I don't know. If it didn't make the list, now it did make the list.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So it might be 51 things, you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Always over-deliver.
We talked about this when we were talking about Placerville. So
and it's a pro and a con.
Yeah.
In this context, it's definitely a pro.
Yes. So you can drive up the hill a little bit into El Dorado County and go to Apple Hill and pick your own fruit.
Yeah.
And buy a pie and a donut.
And then there's hay mazes, corn mazes. There's all kinds of stuff for kids to do.
Especially in the fall. It's just beautiful. And the leaves changing color and everything. It's beautiful.
All right. And then there's another museum. It's actually a theater in this case. It's the Sacramento History at the Eagle Theater.
The Eagle Theater has been in Sacramento since the beginning. So I think it was built in the 1800s, and they still are down there doing tours all of the time. I have a friend who's a docent there. Some days she volunteers. And so it's super fun to see that history.
And then if you're not into theater and you're back in the outdoors, you can go back up to Folsom. And then around Folsom Lake, it's the Folsom Lake State Recreation Area, park, or whatever you want to call it, right? Several boat ramps there. There's
many boat ramps. There's a beach along the Granite Bay side. There's trails and, like we talked about, hiking and biking and boating, you name it. You can do it all.
You know what I love about this list? There's a lot of things that are on the list that didn't make it in the individual city vlogs or suburb vlogs, because now at K1, so now we're going back down Highway 50, if you want to follow us on the map, and now we're in Rancho Cordova. And in Rancho Cordova, there's a K1 speed, which is go-karts. And did they already go to all electric?
I think they did.
I think they did. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't have to deal with the...
It's not as smelly as it used to be when we had taken the boys there when they were really little. It was pretty stinky with the gas smell. So now they're all electric. It's a much cleaner situation, and it's super fun.
And I think they have way more control of the vehicle itself, so they can slow you down if you're not behaving or help you speed up.
We love speed.
Yeah, we do.
Roller coasters, fast cars, like all of the things, you guys.
And then if you follow the American River, then in Sacramento, there's the confluence between the American and the Sacramento River. And then that obviously flows, well, not obviously, but flows into the Delta. And along that way, you're going to end up at the sugar mill, the old sugar mill.
The old sugar mill. And there's multiple wineries out there. So that is another fun thing to do. Actually, I think we have wine on here a few times, and that's not very surprising. No. If you've watched us at all. We love talking about wine and food and beer. And it's, I don't know, I think they have like 10 wineries in there, and it was an old sugar mill, and they set it up.
Right, and you can do, and it's a wedding venue. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can do.
Definitely.
But I mean, I think the layout is awesome that you can just try so many different wineries in one spot.
Yes.
Right.
And, get a driver.
Yeah,
we've got some great recommendations for limo companies. So yes, wine tasting at the Sugar Mill. That's a good one.
And then you can explore Sacramento with a scavenger hunt game, right?
Yes. I mean, there's so many like fun game things. So we have multiple escape rooms. There's scavenger hunts that you can do.
Right.
Lots of different things. So.
And look, it did make it on the list. The California Art Museum.
There it is.
Yeah. I would have put it further up, right? Because that's something special to see.
It's super cool. And it is very close to downtown, kind of like right on the edge of downtown and Old Town. And they do fun events there. So we've gone to several different fundraisers over the years and just gone there just to see the old cars because they are beautiful. Again, we love cars.
Obviously, we talked about the museums a lot, but there's also traveling productions that coming through Sacramento. Like the last one we saw was Mamma Mia.
We've definitely seen Mamma Mia, and then we also got to see Hamilton last year.
That's right, and that's at the Crest Theatre in Sacramento. That was not in the Crest?
I don't think it was the Crest.
Actually, no, you know what? It was close enough.
Yeah, there's several theaters. There's the Music Circus, which is on the list coming up. There's the Crest Theatre, which is very old.
You know what? I just mixed it up with the other one because it was the Sacramento Auditorium, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Versus the Crest Theatre is down on K Street, right across from one of my favorite pizza places.
Yes. K Street isn't even on the list, and that's a really fun way to explore downtown. Is just walking along the K. That's what they call it, the K.
Exactly.
And there's a super good pizza place there. And there's mermaids.
Yeah, next to the pizza place. Right?
Yeah, next to the pizza place, there's a bar that has mermaids swimming around.
Yeah, and I think depending on the day, it's male or female mermaids.
I've never seen the mermen. Yeah? Never. Yeah. I've tried.
There you go. And then Marvin, who helped us put this together.
Yes.
All right. He was super excited about this next item.
Oh my gosh, he sure was. And we've done this a couple times with my alumni group. And you can go and drive through Old Town and tour while you're pedaling a bike, like a group bike, and drink beer at the same time. So it's called a brew bike.
Yeah.
And you can do that if, again, depending on when you're watching this, you can do that during the holidays and see all the holiday lights in East Sacramento along the Fab 40s, which I talked about when I was down in the Fab 40s.
And a little fun fact, if you don't feel like paddling, they all have...
there's like 2 seats on the bike where you don't have to paddle.
Yeah, not just that, but you can tell the guy to turn on the electric motor.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, they do have a motor as well. You can cheat.
Yeah. So after the 5th beer or so, although they probably cut you off.
I think they do. They want to make sure they get back to their home base.
Well, it has to be safe too.
Yes. Yeah. It's really fun though. Actually, I had more fun than I thought I was going to. And it was a workout. My legs were sore after.
That's true.
Yes.
And then we have the farmers market, of course. And there's several farmers
markets. Because again, we're the farm to fork capital of the world.
Yeah. But the big one, I mean, every neighborhood suburb basically has its own farmers market.
Yeah, there's a huge one downtown though too. Yeah.
And then the next point, Renee?
The Sacramento Children's Museum.
We just talked about it on a different video, right?
Yes, we were talking about all things Rancho Cordova and our pro and con list for living, working, and playing in Rancho. And actually, the city of Rancho Cordova helped the Sacramento Children's Museum find their space. And so it is located right near the Rancho Cordova City Hall. And that's a great place for little kids to explore. And they get to do hands-on activities similar to like an exploratorium that you would see in San Francisco, and really fun, creative, imagination stirring activities.
And then because of its close proximity to the Bay Area, we are super close to Napa. So you could always do a day trip to Napa or make it actually an overnight, find a nice bed and breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Find a driver and just be safe and enjoy.
Well, and there's a wine train that you can do. So you don't have to drive. You can actually go explore and take the wine train. But I would say on the wine tasting note, like Sacramento itself has some great wineries. I just went to one on our street for a junior league meeting the other day. That was really nice. Great wines. And then also Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado County, which are all much closer than Napa, they all have amazing wines. So if you love wine and you want to plan a wine tasting trip, hit us up because we can hook you up. So.
And then we have a lot of street art, right?
Oh my goodness!
And so there's a lot of walls, open walls of older buildings where they invite artists to do their murals and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you can just walk around Sacramento and just be inspired with all of the art that's been developed over the last few years. And so that's really fun. And that is one of the things. Get artsy at the wide open walls.
Yeah. And then, and people don't know that. And I don't know if it's really true. So you need to fact check this again. But the local news at least says that the next point, the Fun to Feed the Hungry.
The Run to Feed the Hungry.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
That is the biggest food drive run in the nation.
I believe it. Oh my gosh. We've done it, I don't know, once or twice. And it's always on Thanksgiving morning. So, you know, you can kind of work off your Thanksgiving meal before it happens. And it was like wall to wall people. Like we had to be so close in with everyone, but it was so much fun. And you like run the city streets through East Sacramento, and it's all to help the Sacramento Food Bank. So it's a great organization, great event, and it is very, very well attended. People have teams that they put together, and it's just a 5K. So it's not too long.
It's just a 5K. And the reason we were like this is we were in the slowest group.
Well, that's
starter group, right? Yes. So that was the biggest group at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. We're not the fastest.
We
walk almost every day, but we don't run.
No running here.
We walked to feed the hungry.
Yeah. But it's. I mean, you're doing something for yourself. You're doing something for the Sacramento Food Bank. It's just a great cause.
Yes.
Right.
And the proximity to, I mean, you get to like literally walk or run through the most beautiful streets. It's really a great venue.
Yeah. And hey, guys, we arrived.
We're here?
50.
Okay. And I already talked about it.
You did.
I did. Yeah. So we're back to the Music Circus.
Yeah.
And that is a local theater right downtown. And it's they have new shows every single year. So you can become, once you move here with us, you can become a season ticket holder. And there's lots of theater in Sacramento. So there's always a show downtown. There's always something to see. And
the B Street Theater didn't even make it, huh?
I know. Yeah. There's the B Street Theater, the Sacramento Auditorium, like you talked about, and so many others. So this is not a fully comprehensive list, but we're already at like 36 minutes. So we're going to go for now. And if you made it to the end, oh my gosh, like give us a thumbs up and definitely subscribe. Most of our videos are not this long. We just really wanted to give you a comprehensive list of things to do when you are visiting Sacramento and checking us out to hopefully relocate here.
All right. With that, thank you so much for tuning in, and remember to subscribe.
Thanks, you guys.
Take care.
Bye.